Hi, welcome to our live streaming, our special broadcast discussing our upcoming Survival 101 6-day class. I'm Tom Laskowski. I'm the Director of Midwest Native Skills. And for those of you first joining us, I'll just, as I always do for the new people, just real briefly go over a little bit about our school. We've started way back in 1997. We're a non-military wilderness survival school. We cater to adults. Our average age of the people coming through the school is about 45, with about 40% women, 60% men. I mentioned we're non-military, so the survival skills we teach are more what the Native Americans, the pioneers, the trappers and things of the 17 and 1800s used. We love our military, but the military tends to use equipment in order to survive, and we tend to stress more what nature provides. We get a lot of military through our classes, and it's good to know both. If you have your equipment, there's nothing wrong with equipment. Those that know me know that I love my gizmos and gadgets. But if the equipment goes bad, if the batteries fail, or you don't have the equipment with you at the time, it's always nice to use what's in your head or what's in nature. Teach survival classes. We teach self-reliance at home. We do homesteading classes, winemaking, cheese making, things like that. And one of the more popular classes is the wild, medicinal, and edible classes. Today we have our upcoming class of the 6-day Survival 101. This is our first class in our survival series. We have 4 of them, and we just numbered them 101, 201, 301, and 401. The first class is our basic class. This is for the person that knows either very little about survival, nothing about survival, wants to know more about it, or has some basic knowledge. Maybe they've been watching YouTube videos and have a lot of book knowledge, but not that much hands-on experience. We designed the 101 class for you to gain that hands-on experience. Now, this is a class that's not a roughing it class. You're actually camping out. We cook for you. You're sleeping in a tent, and we're going to go over a lot of the questions I have here to answer your questions. And please write in your questions. If you're watching on Facebook, just type them in. They're going to pop up on my screen there, and I can answer them directly. So we're think of it as a week camping out. You're having a good time, and you're learning things in the process. I should say, we are not eating bugs during this week. We'll teach you how to eat bugs. If you want to eat bugs, you can, but it's not on the menu. So that's our first class, and we'll go into a little more details about the class. Then we have our 201 class. That's once you learn the skills, you learned how to do a bow drill fire by rubbing 2 sticks together to get fire. You learned how to navigate. You learned how to build shelters. You learned your wild, edible, and medicinal plants. Then you go to the 201. That's where you're actually going to build a shelter and live in that shelter for the week. We're bringing in live animals, and we're teaching you how to respectfully and quickly kill that animal and how to prepare it, and you're cooking that animal for your meals. You're purifying your own water for the week. You're learning advanced trapping techniques, fire techniques, different things like that. So you're actually applying the techniques that you learned and living a more primitive life. 301 is a nomadic trip. We'll go someplace around the country, Smoky Mountains, someplace like that. And you're taking maybe 3 pounds of gear in a fanny pack, maybe 4 pounds of gear, maybe a tarp. Point A to point B one day and point C, and you're living off the land as a nomad and practicing your skills moving. Very similar than what you're seeing on TV when some of these survival TV shows, they have to get from point A to point B. Our 4th class is a 401. That's a knife and blanket. That's an invitation-only class, and you get to go out with a knife and a blanket and live off the land. We're there two ways. If you want to be totally on your own and just have us as a backup there as checking on you, we can arrange that. If you want to come back to our base camp and learn some additional skills beyond that, that'll be an option too. Okay, let's talk about this upcoming week. It's going to be June 14th, which is a Sunday. Class will start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll go for a week, ending about mid-afternoon on the following Saturday, June 20th. Brent, thanks for calling. Yes, in the first class, he gained weight on that class. Yeah, we do try to feed people well. A couple things I learned that, especially this first class, a student has to be well rested, fed well in order to learn. There's no sense in you not being well fed and well rested in order to learn. Okay, some questions that I frequently get, and Wendy, a good friend of mine in Pennsylvania, helped me out with this. She's been unbelievably helpful with getting these live streamings on, so I want to just publicly thank Wendy for getting these going. Who should attend the class? I mentioned people that have been watching the TV shows, have been watching YouTube videos, but don't have a lot of hands-on experience. If you want hands-on experience, this is the class for you. I get a lot of questions. We just got done with a weekend class, and that's a Friday night, Saturday, Sunday class, and that's our 101 class. People say, well, what's the difference between the two of them? Well, the obvious answer is length of time. One's a 2.5-day class, the other's a 6-day class. In the 6-day class, I have a lot more time to go in depth in every topic, whether it be shelter, fire, edible medicinal plants. I know in the weekend class, we did not cover any type of navigation. We did not really go into plants. We covered the very basics of traps, only one type of trap. In fire, we didn't really carve any bow drills. We didn't go into in-depth on fire, and we just breezed over tinder. We didn't have the time. So the weekend class is for the person that wants to get the basics of survival, and I'm relying on them to go home, practice on their own if they want to get good at any of the skills we covered. On the 6-day class, that's for the person that wants to take the class, wants to put the time in at the class, and have somebody there to answer their questions. We have the time for dirt time. We have time to go in depth in all the skills, and then we have the time to do other skills like the navigation. We go into navigation to teach you declination, how to read a topo map, how to go into latitude, longitude, UTM. Navigation by the stars, constellations, all that. We get to go into edible medicinal plants, actually making things with the edible medicinal plants. Incorporate those in our meals, mirage of things. So there's just more time to do more things. In both classes, we do try to cover the basics of shelter, water, fire, and food. But in the weekend class, we kind of cut food short, and we pack everything else in a tighter amount of time. Age. The ages of all of our classes, they're basically geared for adults. Anybody under the age of 17 needs an adult with them. The age of 17 is a little a gray area. I know we have some people right at that 17 break point. If they're a mature 17-year-old, give us a call. We can talk about it. If you have a mature 17-year-old, sure, they can attend the class. I just don't want to have some 15, 16-year-olds. This is the first time they're away from home, and the parents drop them off as a kind of a summer camp way to get them out of the house for the week. That's not what our program is designed for. As a rule of thumb, anybody under 17 needs an adult with them, but as with every rule, there are exceptions to that. Skill level. We start at the basics in this class. So if you say, gee, I've never been camping before, I watched one on survival. I have an interest in it. Can I come to the class? The answer is definitely yes. At the classes, we have teaching assistants. The teaching assistants have taken the class before, and the material is relatively fresh in their mind, which is a real positive. I've been teaching this for 23 years and I'm doing these skills for over 30 years. I know the skills, but I explain it to the best of my knowledge, but somebody that just learned it 2 weeks ago, or a month ago, or a year ago, they might understand some of the problems you're having a little fresher in their mind than I do. So if I explain it to you and you're not quite getting it yet, maybe their explanation might be a little crisper and they'll understand why you're not getting that flint and steel quite right. So I like to have my experience, yet their freshness there. So we have the teaching assistants.
I have a question for you.
What's the question?
Steve would like to know if they did enough in the weekend class to move on to the 201 version.
Good question, Steve. Your answer is yes. If they took the weekend class, they can go directly to 201. I do tell them you need to go home and practice. And I do have people come to the 201 that have practice and they get a lot out of the 201. On occasion, I have people that and they'll come to the 201 class with very little practice in between. They make it through the class, but they spend the 201 class practicing what they should have practiced at home. So they do get things out of the class. I mean, they learn how to field dress the animals, but their time could be better spent in advancing their skills rather than just kind of relearning what they should have practiced at home. So yes, they can go directly to the 201 if they choose. Good question. Disabilities. If you have a disability, sure, you can come to the class. There is bending. It depends on what the disability is. We'll work best we can with you. Best thing to do is give us a call and we can discuss what your disability is and how we can best cope with it. We're going to do the best possibility. We'll accommodate you any way we can, and we'd like to see you succeed. So that would be best handled on a give us a call. If it's a disability that would impede the rest in the class, I'm sure you don't want that to happen, and neither do we. We could make special arrangements. We do have private classes, and we could see if a private class, just a one-on-one, would make more sense. I've done that in the past many times. And then it's just me and you, and then we'll go at your pace, work at your pace, and then we could, if there's a skill that maybe is just not, you can't do it, we'll just skip over that skill. Or spend more time on that skill, or modify it in any way you need to have it done. So we usually find a way to accommodate a disability depending on what it is. So if we can incorporate you in a class, definitely, that's our first choice. If not, we have the private classes to deal with that. COVID-19. The good thing about this is in the outdoors. And if you've been reading and listening to all the latest, the outdoors is much less of an issue. We're in the outdoors, so we're maintaining a reasonable distance. I am not making masks mandatory outdoors. But we just had the weekend class, and we had no issues with anyone. So we have sanitizer, trying to maintain distance. We're not walking around coughing in each other's faces. We're just being reasonable about it. Again, if you have any concerns, give us a call and we can talk about it directly. If you have major concerns, maybe this isn't the time to take a class when we're going to have 10 people thereabouts together. Physical capabilities, how strenuous. This class is not strenuous at all. You do not have to be in good physical condition to take this class. There's not going to be strenuous hiking. My philosophy, if you're on my Facebook page, right on top there's about a 3-minute video And I mentioned that you already know how to hike. You're not going to be learning anything if I hike you, 4 or 5 miles. There's minimal hiking in the class. We stay in an area right around a base camp. The purpose of this class is to teach you skills. And if you're in good physical condition, everything's easy. Doing your yard work's easy if you're in better physical condition. But there'll be bending, kneeling down to do a bow drill, walking in the woods to find some sticks, maybe taking a short plant walk, walking to the outhouse. But other than that, you don't have to be in good physical condition to take this class. But in 201, the better physical condition you're in, the easier the class is going to be. But again, no strenuous hiking. We're not climbing mountains, hills, or anything like that. Location. The location we're doing the first class is a old Girl Scout camp. It's in Richfield, Ohio, about 10 miles south of Cleveland. The Girl Scout camp was built in the 20s, operated till the 70s. It was abandoned, and the township of Richfield purchased it. And now I lease some land for my classes there. We have a pavilion in case it rains, so we have a place to hide from the rain. We have an enclosed area that we use for our kitchen. There's an outhouse there, which is a relatively nice outhouse as far as outhouses go. There are no shower facilities. If you want to bring your own shower, I know they have the black bags, hook up in a tree, put a tarp around you. That's an option. About 10 minutes away is a truck stop. They have shower facilities there. I think they cost around $12 for a shower. During lunchtime, dinner time, I always promise during the day and maybe the first day or two there's a break, but even in the 6-day class it's a pretty full schedule. So I'll promise breaks again for this year, but after the second day we'll see about breaks. Like I said, there's a lot of material to cover. But during dinner, a lot of people will opt out and say, I'm going to go up to the truck stop to grab a shower. It's perfectly fine. Most people, for cleansing, they'll take a sponge bath. Like I said, in our kitchen, we have a propane stove to heat water. People do that. A lot of people just bring baby wipes in their tent. They'll clean up with baby wipes. So those are some options people do. Bathrooms, we have an outhouse. Like I said, it's a relatively nice outhouse, but it's an outhouse, non-flushing water. No more questions?
Nope.
Okay. Any questions you have, just shoot them in. Refrigeration for medication. We have no electricity on the site, but we do have coolers with ice. So coolers with ice, we have that. Also, you will have the option of your car. Your car will be located within a 5-minute walk of where our base camp is going to be. So if you want to have a cooler in your car and you want to have ice in there, if you need more ice, your car will be in a fenced-in area. The police will be patrolling the area just to make sure to keep your car I believe Brent will, I'm speaking for him without talking with him, but I know he made an offer to be a teaching assistant. He was before, and Brent's skills are awesome. So if we're lucky enough to have Brent at this class, whoever's going to be attending the class is going to have an extra benefit, because he really knows his stuff. And he'll be cooking too, and so you won't have to suffer with my cooking, which is a real benefit. Equipment needed. Before class, I'm going to be sending you a equipment list. But bare bones, you need a tent, a sleeping bag, a ground pad, and a mess kit. And by mess kit, I mean plate, bowl, water bottle, and silverware. That's it. That's all you need. What you should bring, in addition to that, I would suggest is a chair. I want you to be comfortable. Long sleeve shirt, your clothes, but also in there a long sleeve shirt. A knife if you have it. Don't go out and buy a knife if you don't have one. I have a lot of people that say, well, gee, I want to go out and buy a knife for the class. Don't do that, because we're going to be going over knives, knife sharpening, types of knives. And I'd rather you come without a knife and just, I'll have inexpensive knives for sale at the class. They'll be like $16, $17. They're a Mora knife. They're a very popular, very inexpensive knife, and they're more than adequate. If you don't want to buy one of those, I'll have them for loan. Just borrow a knife for the week. You're going to learn about what goes into a good knife, what goes into a not so good knife. I'd rather you learn and not waste your money on a knife that might not be what you want. So save your money. In fact, don't buy any equipment if you don't have it already before the class. I think you'll learn a lot and know, or have a better idea of what type of equipment you want to buy after the class. And if nothing else, you're going to see other people's equipment there. Also at the class, bring any survival gear you have, either to try, or if you've never tried it before and you want to try it. If you have a bug-out bag, if you're that far advanced in your survival journey, bring your bug-out bag, bring equipment. Bring stuff you tried. If you have a bow drill at home and you never got it to work, bring it along. We'll see why the batteries in it don't work. We'll figure that out. So bring your stuff. Your car's going to be 5 minutes away. So don't think of this as a survival trip. This is a learning trip. I want to emphasize that. You're learning this time. Meals, equipment needed. I'll give you that list if you decide to sign up. What can you expect to learn? After this 6-day class, you should be able to survive anywhere in North America, most any time of year, with minimal or no equipment whatsoever.
Assuming they practice.
Pardon?
Assuming they
practice. You're going to learn, and I'm going to tell the people at the beginning of class, and I'm going to get some chuckles, you're going to look forward to getting lost. And everybody will laugh. And almost every class, at the end of class, someone will come up to me and they'll say, Tom, you were serious when you said that, weren't you? Because I kind of am looking forward to getting lost. Because you're going to have the confidence, you're going to know what to do. And you're looking for that opportunity to actually practice what you just learned in this past week. So you're going to learn how to, if you got lost, make a shelter, make a fire, purify water, get food, prepare the food, signal for help, assuming you want to get found. And you're going to learn to survive, but you're going to learn to be comfortable while you're doing it. You're not going to be cold. You're not going to be afraid, because you're going to be comfortable. You're going to have your survival situation as a camping situation. I always make a joke. When you get lost, I want you, the people in my class, to make a nice bough bed that's going to be soft. I want you to get some hot soup ready, make a fire, get some hot soup with wild edibles, preferably get some meat. Set some snares to get some squirrels or whatever. Get some meat in your soup. Get a nice reflector. Get a bed. Get a good fire going. Because when the rescue team comes to save you, they're going to be cold. They're going to be tired. They're going to want something to eat. So I want you to feed the rescue team. I want you to let them rest. Warm them up before they save you. Then when they ask you where you learned all these skills, or when the news crew asks you where you learned all these skills, make sure you give the school a plug. So that's what you expect to learn. Registration deadline date. As soon as you can. If you're watching this and you get the okay from the big boss, there's a link. I put a link, again, right above there, I think it is. Or just go to our website, survivalschool.com, and go to the courses, to the 6-day class. The sooner you apply, the better. But the drop dead date would be the Wednesday before, so that would be Wednesday, June 10th. Because we have to buy food and all that for the class. Discounts, yes. If you bring someone under, if an adult brings somebody under 17, somebody say, and we had people, a parent bring somebody 8, 9, 10 years old. If they're much under 8, they don't have the strength to carve. We've had 7-year-olds come with a mother or a father. They're okay with most everything. They do need help from the parent on carving some of the traps and things, but they're okay with everything else. So in that case, the child would be half price. If an adult comes with somebody else, a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, significant other, there's a discount there too. So when you have the drop down, you'll see 2 people. There's a $100 discount there. What if you have a question you don't want to ask on Facebook? Just give us a call. We have a toll-free number. That toll-free number is, it's on our website, but it's 888-886-5592. That's 888-886-5592. Or drop me an email, tom@survivalschool.com. It's tom@survivalschool.com. And other than that, yeah, it's a fun week. Like I said, food's good. We have evening camp discussions, and we try to keep the discussions. Actually, we throw it open to just about anything. A lot of times, most people know I'm a beekeeper, and beekeeping seems to be a big topic. So sometimes they go to beekeeping. Sometimes they go to a topic non-survival, which is fine. We try to stay away from politics and religion. But I know one class we had a elderly lady there. Margaret was, I think, in her upper 60s. She took the survival class, and she took it because her husband almost dared her to take it because he didn't think she could do it. So she was a spunky lady, but she looked just like your grandma. She was real quiet, outspoken around the campfire, and we were kind of meek. We were talking around the campfire, just normal conversation. And she kind of meekly said, "Tom, I've got a question." I said, "Yeah, Margaret, what do you have?" She goes, "Well, I'm just wondering if I would buy something for self-defense, what's a good caliber that I could kill somebody if they got in my house?" From this little old lady. It was hysterical. So we went to calibers of defensive weapons for Margaret. But that's not a typical conversation. But if Margaret wanted to know, we had an open discussion, and everybody has an opinion. So. But other than that, any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Is there a final exam? Brent, I owe you one. Yes, there is a final exam, and I almost forgot about that. If you take a 6-day class, on the last day, we call it our simulated survival situation. That's the final exam. At noon, we give you a good lunch, and at 1 o'clock, we take everyone in the class and we spread you out in the woods. You're by yourself. And the situation is you are now lost. So what you have to do is you have to demonstrate you know all of the knots and lashings that we taught you during the week. And they're the square knot, fisherman's knot, taut line, bowline, constrictor, square lash, tripod lash, just to name a few, clove hitch. So you demonstrate you know those knots. Then you have to make a fire, preferably with a bow drill. Now if you can't make it with a bow drill, you're allowed to make it with a flint and steel, but you can't make it with a ferro rod or a lighter or matches or anything. So you have to demonstrate you know how to make a fire lay. It has to be a sustained fire, and you have to make it with non-matches. Once you have your boiling, your pot to boil water, you have to navigate to where the pot is. The pot is someplace in the woods. So we'll give you a course you have to navigate to. So you have to know how to do a map and compass, take bearings, and navigate to where your pot is. You're using your navigation skills that you learned during the week. Now, keep in mind, if anybody's freaking out now going, well, ooh, what if I don't remember? We want you to succeed. If you're having problems, we're there to help you. We're not going to do it for you. So, if you're having a problem going, geez, I kind of forgot how to take a bearing. Well, we will take you aside and go over how to take a bearing, and then you can do the course. So we're not going to let you hang out to dry, but we're not going to walk you to your pot. So get your pot, get water boiling. Then you have to carve a working trap, whether that be a deadfall trap or oh no, you have to carve both of them. I'm sorry, both of them. A spring snare and a figure 4 trap. Once you do that, you have to make a model of a shelter, either a lean-to or a debris hut. Small model, because a full-size shelter would take you 6 hours. Just a model of a shelter. Dimensions, you have to tell us. It should be this high, this, you know. So, just so you know the concept. After that, after you complete all that, you get a fish. A whole fish. Now remember, in this class we're teaching you how to fillet the fish. So, you fillet the fish, and we give you some rice and things, and now you can cook your fish over the fire you made, or you can make a survival stew or whatever, and that's going to be your dinner, and you've made your little base camp there. And that'll take most people the entire afternoon. Now, we had one gal do this entire thing I just described in 4 hours. She's got the record. But most people, it'll take them till about 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. Some people don't finish. If you fail on any one of those things, say you don't get your trap working, or you start it, or you don't do your knots, you don't get your fish. You have to complete everything. Just like in a survival situation, if you don't get your fire, you don't boil your water, you don't survive. So there's consequences. The good thing is you can go 3 weeks without food. So
Nancy wants to know, what if she doesn't want to fish?
Well, Nancy, that is a problem. So we will work out something with you. Are you okay with maybe a chicken breast? Waiting for your answer, Nancy. I know everybody's going to say yes, they're okay with a chicken breast. If you don't like fish, we'll work something out so you can get a chicken breast to cook.
Brendan says, or it takes to 1
Yes, or 1 a.m. We do have people going, Yeah, that was in your class. That one guy was till 1 a.m. I remember that was your class. He was determined to. Brent, do you remember what he was working on till 1 a.m. that he wouldn't give up on?
Nancy loves chicken.
Nancy, chicken breast for you. Now, everybody in the class is going to say they don't like fish, I know. But for the fish part, I'd still like you to fillet a fish, just so you have the knowledge of filleting a fish. Is that okay? Yeah, we had one guy in the class. He was doing whatever he was doing. I think it was a bow drill to get a fire. And the other students in the class were kind of helping him. They were holding their lights on him, trying to give him lights so we could carve the bow drill and stuff. I think it was a bow drill. Yeah, I think it was a bow drill he was trying. And he couldn't get a bow drill, and he kept going and going. Okay, well, like I said, that's just the overview of the Survival 101. It's going to be in 2 weeks. It's going to be a small class. I think Brent's going to be there. I don't have. I have a tentative commitment, and I think I can get him to come to it. So that would really be a plus if he'll be there as the TA. So you'd really benefit if you guys want to sign up for that. So if you can, sign up for the class in 2 weeks. It will be a small class, so you're going to get a lot of individual attention. And
Hope to see you.
Yep, I was right with the bow drill. If you have any questions, give me a call on the class if you have any concerns. Again, 888-886-5592. And I hope to see you at the class.